I want to share with you how you can turn your trauma into triumph. I am so excited with you on today to share such a powerful message, and that's how we can empower our choices. And in this time, I'm hoping I can help you transition the way you view your temporary situation right now today. Please know and do know that every day that we open our eyes and breathe air into our lungs, our Creator has given us a chance. And in that very moment, we have a choice on what we will do with this opportunity in order to create the changes we are looking for. Chance plus choice equals change. And the power of decision making and how it transforms our choices and chances into that change. This is powerful because every choice we make shapes our lives, steering us toward our goals, or it could keep us stuck in a state of defeat, denial, or a delusional state of comfort, where we sometimes are in the comfort of hiding behind our shame. When we are hiding behind a trauma and it shames us, we are stagnant. We become stagnated in our lives. And we don't allow ourselves to expand our minds and embrace the power that God has given us. He knows who we can be. So by taking control and taking full control and part ownership in our journey in life will become more clear. There were so many times as a single parent in the military that I didn't realize the full blessings and the full power of God. He gave me chance after chance after chance to better my choices with the decisions that I was making on a daily basis. My focus was my career and my children, how I just knew I had to make it for them. I would mask my pains by drinking, or for the most part, I would be a big sister for the younger soldiers I encountered. And then later on, we became family because of the type of person and the type of giving that I would do. I was the type of person who always poured into everybody else and hid my pains and my failures and dissatisfaction within myself. There were so many times I contemplated suicide just so I could free myself from all the trials and tribulations and all the trauma that life had given me. I thought my children would be better off without me. You see, I joined the military at the age of 30. I was running from yet another trauma and a tribulation in my life. I was running from an abusive 12-year-old marriage. We had 4 children from that marriage. And how I wound up in that situation is because I was running from yet another trauma, another tribulation. And that was a misguided, abused childhood. I was raped at the age of 12, coming home from school. My mother had just moved to the upper part of West Philly. We moved to a place in Philly that was known as the Bottom. So therefore, I had to catch the trolley from down the bottom to the upper part of West Philly. My mother was running from her abusive marriage. And this day, I thought I was being cautious coming home. I would look back to see if the trolley was coming. And as I was looking back, I noticed that every time I would look back, there was someone following me. And it was just a little bit too close for my comfort. So I would cross the street to see if they would cross the street, so I wasn't just tripping on that day. So I crossed the street and noticed, sure enough, shortly after, he would cross the street. So I said, let me do it just one more time. Let me cross the street to see if they're really following me. So I crossed the street, and he was. So I began to get nervous, and I said, oh my gosh, I should walk a little bit faster. And then I crossed the street one more time, but before I could even look back, my attacker was up on me and followed through with his evil intent. I did what I was told to do in the fear of death. When my mother found out, she was devastated and hurt, I suppose, and she expressed her hurt in a way of anger and asked me why didn't I spring for help. My mother cried so deeply that day that I will never forget the sound of her cry. But I was so confused, I didn't know how to answer her question, and then became ashamed, thinking that it was all my fault, and maybe I should have said something, maybe I should have screamed, maybe I should have done something. But at that time, all I knew was I froze. I wanted all this to go away, so I just shut down, didn't say anything. I wanted to all go away, and the next time I would be sexually assaulted again by someone that we knew. And what do you think I did this time? Again, I said nothing. I said nothing out of fear for, once again, it would be my fault. And out of that trauma, my oldest child was born. So meeting my husband, my then husband, who is now my ex-husband, came along, my knight in shining armor, said that nobody had to know that he would protect me and this child would be his. He would take care of us both. So I ran away to be with him, dropped out of school in about the 11th grade, and thought I was saved. I am saved until the abuse began again in less than a year. I was pregnant again with my second child. Right after my 6-week checkup, I went back for my 6-week checkup, and the doctors told me I was pregnant. You can imagine the look on their faces. And the abuse continued for the next 8 years of having my child. This is just the surface of some of my trauma. And after going through so many things that I had to endure, I chose to continue to push through my situations and rise above them. Continuously saying to myself, I know things will get better because they have to. They have to. I would cry and I would sob to the Most High and say, I know I'm purposed for something greater than this. I was never comfortable with being stagnated, and at any time I would want to check out and give up, the Most High would step right in at my lowest levels of not wanting to exist and give me His strength and His power to guide me into my purpose. But you see, once He gave me that chance by giving me His strength so I can say I can make it just a little while longer, I then had to make a choice on how I was going to keep succeeding in my life. Not all the time did I have the answers to any of my questions on how to survive, but I took each day and found a way to uplift or empower myself to get through my days. And 100% of that time, what empowered me was my children and the determination of giving them a better life so they would never, ever, ever have to endure the things that I did. I was continuously wake up searching for breadcrumbs for a reason to exist. I would surround myself by uplifting positive things or positive people or uplifting people who also helped me throughout my journey. For the most part, I would always look back on everything else that I had to endure, and said, if I made it through that, I can then make it through this. And with His help and His strength, I'm sure I'll pull through again. So the next time, people, the next time you are faced with a choice and you're given a chance to get it right, I want you to remember 3 things. And number 1, remember it's not just what's easy or familiar. It's about taking a leap of faith, having faith, and standing on solid ground, knowing that you will succeed. You will succeed because there's a purpose in your life. Number 2, know and believe and trust that you are not alone. You are not alone. There are others who have suffered in the very way you are. Don't be afraid to seek help. Don't be afraid to reach out. And number 3, decide today to take the chance that you are given. Make a choice that leads to a positive change, because everyone, and I mean everyone, has a purpose. Your future self will thank you. Many peace, truths, and blessings on you today. Continue to follow me as I continue to help those change their trauma into triumph.